I'm looking forward to this discussion. If you don't mind sharing your, giving everybody a snapshot of who Shaqir Hussyin is. I know, brother, you don't see my video because I don't want it to interfere with the stream, so you're just probably seeing my picture there. But you are live and clear on the camera. If you can tilt your computer down just a little bit, that would be better. And look, let's dive into this, man. I know it's 2 a.m. there. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you, waking up at 2 a.m. To be here with us. If you can give everybody a snapshot of who Shaqir Hussyin is right now, what you're up to right now, and then I want to dig deep and I want to, talk to you. You have no idea what kind of questions I have for you. We have no idea where this conversation is going to go, so we're just going to, go with the flow and see if we can provide. My idea here, you guys, okay, is you're going to be watching this. This is a guy who is producing 8 figures a year in this industry, right, as an online marketer. How does he do it? Okay, what kind of stuff does he do that works? What kind of strategies that work? But most importantly, I want to know how he started out, what were his breakthroughs, what were his lessons, mistakes, all that stuff. So if you're taking notes, take lots of notes because it's going to be a lot of value for you here tonight. Okay, so Shaq, what are you up to these days, man? Who are you? Tell everybody a brief, 30-second preview of who you are today.
Sure, man. So I run a whole bunch of different websites online, from my blog, Shakir.com, and essentially, I have a big mailing list. I have a responsive mailing list, which I email, I communicate every single day. I travel around the world. I'm in like a different country every single week. I made my first $1 million when I was about 23, and now I'm 28. And in those years, I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes. More mistakes than most people. I've been so blessed and so grateful, and I pray to God every day for the blessings I have. I speak. I have a book out, Online Profits Breakthrough. I'm working on a new book called Backpack Millionaire. I'm just on a mission. I'm just on a mission to create freedom and prosperity for other people. I was very blessed when I was 21 years old. I stumbled across this industry in my final year of university. So I guess we can kind of take the discussion from there.
Awesome, man. So you're an author. You got a book now. You're speaking. You're traveling. You're young. You're single. Are you still single?
I am.
All right.
I wish I had kids.
So you're a free bird, man. You're living it up, right? Let's start it from the beginning. Shaq, the way I want to run this stuff, man, is I always want to come from a position of somebody who is aspiring, right? Because you are obviously one of the iconic figures in the industry right now, right? You had to do certain things in a certain way to get to where you are today. How did everything begin? And I want to go back, if you would. How did you come across this industry? What inspired you? And what were your first beginnings? What were your introduction to this industry like?
It started off with this frustration that I didn't want to live. And when I say I don't want to live like anyone else, I don't mean to talk down about someone who's living an average life or anything. Everyone's in their own journey, if that makes sense. But
right.
I was just really frustrated with, is this all there is to life? Go to school, go to college, go to university, get a degree, get a job. Me being Asian and brown, that's what my Asian brown parents said to me. Go to school, you need to go and get a degree. And I remember one day I spoke to my father and I said, Dad, why is you're so adamant on me getting a degree? And he said, you don't understand, son. All of my friends, all of their sons are very highly educated. And I was like, whoa, okay. And he said, you must go and get a degree because this is what's going to give you security. Right. And you'd be able to travel all over the world and get a job because now you have a degree. And as I was going to university, I remember I could never focus because I knew that end goal that most universities or colleges provided was not really what I wanted. Even in school, I had a hard time focusing. From a young age, I was always hustling, I guess. I was always selling stuff. When I was 15 years old, I I used to sell mobile phones, car parts. I would literally go knocking on doors saying, "Hey, I'm an eBay power seller. What do you have in your garage that I can put on eBay? And if I sell for you, I'll get a commission. How's that? No risk to you." I mean, I was doing that when I was 15, 16 years old.
Dude, where is
So
that coming from? Is that entrepreneurial gene? Do you think is that generic? Do you think is that where did you get it? Where did you get it from? I mean, why? How could you pinpoint where that comes from?
yeah, it was definitely from my father, and it wasn't until recently that I actually got this. When I was a kid, my father used to take me to this factory. He would work, and he would make me do some work as well. And I had this job where, when you buy a T-shirt or whatever, and in the underneath the T-shirt, there's a little plastic bag that has a spare one or two buttons.
Yeah.
So I was doing those buttons when I was like 11, 12 years old. And I remember very clearly I discovered this is so funny. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I remember very clearly if I had smiled and I had approached the lady, she was the boss, this short Turkish lady. I forgot her name, but if I approached her with a smile and I approached her instead of just waiting around, she would always hand me a £20 note. So I learned early on to keep smiling and go and approach. So my father used to take me to this factory. I saw my father build a business. Like he had absolutely no money, and he started building a property business. And God bless him, he's doing all right for himself. So I saw him at an early age go through the hustle, get into the property business, the restaurant business, the small business, and it just like sparked a fire inside of me, which was very weird because he always thought that he got lucky and no one else in my family can get lucky, so they shouldn't start a business.
Right.
So he was, as much as I love him, he never encouraged me to get into entrepreneurship until my much later years. So I think it's something that your environment kind of builds into you if you want to be an entrepreneur.
So, all right. So you're 15, selling, eBay power sellers. You got your power sellers pitch. Trying to get as many products to eBay as possible. When did you come across internet marketing?
Internet marketing when I was about 21 years old. I think it was just 1 month before I was 21, and I became obsessed with it. I had gone to an event and I met people. There was guys like Hussain, Dr. Michael Ming, Stephen
Right.
Pierce. I don't know if you know any of those guys. I'm sure you know
Oh, yeah.
some of them. I remember going into a seminar and I realized, wow, these are internet millionaires. That was the first time I heard that term. And these were people that were making millions online. And I remember like being so excited. I couldn't afford the programs that they were selling, but that idea sparked in my head at 21 years old. And so I remember going straight to university, telling all of my friends, guys, there's these people that exist in the world that I met, the millionaires, and they make millions online. And gosh, I just remember everyone giving me that talk. Shaq, it's a scam. What are you doing? Stay away from these people. Why? I remember one of my friends, Alvin at the time. He's not my friend now. Go figure. But at that time, he was like, Shaq, why don't you be like average people? Why don't you be like us that are gonna go and get a 9-to-5 job? Why do you want to get into this entrepreneurship stuff? And I just felt like these guys, people around me at the time didn't really quite get it. And so I was a man on a mission by myself.
So the environment was trying to pull you to be average, to be mediocre, to be like everybody else. So okay, so how were you exposed to internet marketing? Was that like a direct sales company? Was that an affiliate type?
Straight up
marketplace?
infomercial. I used to stay up late nights. I don't know why. and I don't know why I would stay up late nights, but I would see these guys on TV.
Right.
There was a couple of these guys. There was one guy English. There was a guy called Bob Proctor. He would be on. There would be all these guys. Excuse me. Be on, and they just started talking about making a lot of money, living a very different life, attracting, using your mind. And no one had ever told me that. You know what I mean? Like I never went to school, college, university, and no one taught me that. Like I went there and no one taught me that. And I have great parents. I come from a family of 6. But no one in my family was even aware of those kind of things. So it was. I was open for new experiences because the current way of thinking never got me the results that I wanted. And I looked around and everyone else had the same thinking and everyone else had the same results. And I was just like, I don't know if this is going to work out long term for me.
So,
I grew
you
up in
see
a
an
place called East London, Vic.
So you see an
Everyone
infomercial.
else.
So you see an infomercial, and you get excited about the possibilities, right? Was that like for an affiliate offer? What kind of marketplace did you get yourself into?
It was on creating your own products and services. It was on like creating your own information products. And see, at the time, I used to live in a place called East London, which wasn't really the prettiest place in town. Let's put it that way. And everyone that I knew was either on drugs, selling drugs, or getting into crimes. And I just was, I guess, frustrated with being stuck in a place. We used to live in a 3-bedroom council flat, which I don't know what you call them in America, like projects or something, like the council government housing.
Yeah.
So we lived there. It was 3 bedrooms. We had 13 people that lived there. And I never knew we were poor, because my parents, we had a lot of love growing up. We had a lot of, just a good upbringing. So I never felt like I was poor until I started meeting people who were very rich. And I was like, oh, damn, I grew up very poor. And I don't want that for myself ever again, or I don't want that for, a family or my family. And so that kind of drove me to start thinking. And so I start watching these infomercials, and I see all these guys making millions, and they're talking about product creation. And I mean, I will tell you, I did try to create my own product, and it was bloody hard. I felt like being an affiliate would be much better. And I actually made probably my first maybe $5 or $6 million dollars in commissions, in profits, through affiliate marketing.
So, okay, so you got dumped into this industry with an idea of creating your own stuff. Go out there, create products, produce things immediately from the get-go, and which is a great idea, right? And it sounds like what you found out is it didn't work for you. So how long did you try to do that before you started to look into becoming an affiliate, selling somebody else's products?
I got in. I looked at the whole product creation model, and I was like, no, there needs to be an easier way. And I found an affiliate marketing company. There was one company that I joined, which was an offline marketing company, and it was on saving gas and electricity. And I remember going to the meeting in London. It was a training center, and they said, all right, write down 10 people that you know, friends and family, that you have to go and approach.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, man, I'm going to go to the local city community. I'm going to try and pitch people. I'm going to go to the mosque. I'm going to go and find people there. I'm going to go and speak to my dad, all of my dad's friends, everyone, all my cousins. And the first day, I just knew it was a dumb idea to go around pitching to strangers. The first day I went and pitched to my dad, and he gave me this look like, get out of my office. Don't come back with that. And the second time I went to my dad's friend's house. I literally sat down in the living room and I pitched them on this opportunity to save their gas and electricity. This was the first ever company that I ever joined in my life. And I remember 1 month later, I got this letter and it said, you just received a residual check for £5.
Was that like one sale, or was that, you know,
It
several
was one
sales?
sale. I only made one sale in a month,
Right.
but I worked so hard, and I got £5. And then I said to myself, Shaq, you're never gonna work for another month in your life for £5 ever again. And so the next thing I discovered was I just got online, and the first affiliate program that I found were run by these two guys, Jay and Aaron from New York, and they completely changed my life because I got into that company, and in the first, I think the first 3 months I made $2,000, and then the first 9 months was a constant. It was a struggle of learning and epic failures. But when I look back at it now, it was just me learning, paying my dues. You know what I mean? And so for 9 months, I just studied. I studied every single thing under the sun. I was reading, learning, implementing. Um, and after 9 months, I had my big breakthrough. I went to a live event. It was in November 2009. And then January 2010, I had my first $40,000 month. And then
Okay.
within 12 months of that, I had my first $100,000 month. And then I just scaled it to, 300,000, 500,000, and as much as $800,000 in a single month. So that's been kind of the journey. Yeah.
All right,
It's
so
been-
all right, so Shaq, now you're making it sound like so simple. Started out, make 5 pounds. Exactly. This is perfect segue into
Sure.
exactly how if you don't mind, let's talk about your first breakthrough, right? So you made, you did all this hustle and and bustle and everything, and door to door and pitching, that the discount savings deal. You make 5 pounds, you get a little discouraged. You're like, dude, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm gonna find something better, right? You get into the another company that you come across, and then you start having your breakthroughs. What's that first? How did that first breakthrough happen for you, if you don't mind me? Like, could you go back and like remember what did you do that allowed you to have that first major breakthrough? What
Yeah, I'll tell
can you
you,
attribute to
the
that?
first breakthrough I had was um, believing that there is, I don't like to use the word shortcut, but it's like you create these systems um, that help people overcome a lot of the heavy lifting. You know what I mean, Vic?
Yeah.
Like, this is what your specialty is. You create funnels that help the average person make the first dollar, make the first $100,000, which is great. And when I got started, I saw, wow, there were people um, similarly, just like you, that are creating systems that I could leverage. And I didn't have to be that smart guy that's going to go out and create all this tech stuff, because when I got started, I saw, like, I had two friends, Elena and Dava, and they were trying to learn how to create everything by themselves. Whereas I was trying to figure out, okay, who's already got a system that I can simply plug and play, and someone else is doing the heavy lifting for me. So I don't have to go through that initial curve of learning a bunch of tech stuff. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so that was my first big breakthrough. It was that there are systems that exist and you can go and leverage them. And that's what I used to make my first $2,000 online, which led me to my second breakthrough, which was you can sell low end products or you can sell high end products. And even now, I'm known to sell high ticket. I have clients that spend $40,000 to $100,000, and I've got like hundreds of amazing clients that have paid that much money. Why? Because I choose to focus on that segment of the market, right? So I'm attracting top tier. I'm attracting a very serious person rather than someone who wants to just come in at $20 or something. Does that make sense?
Makes absolute sense, Shaq. Thank you for sharing that. There's so many directions we can go from what you just said in the last 30 seconds. It's crazy, dude. My mind is like racing with different things. We can take this conversation to different directions. The first thing I want to ask you, do you remember what kind of marketing? So you were marketing a system, right, for the company that you were promoting. Do you remember how did you market that system? Did you do, solo ads? Did you do paid media? Did you do free marketing? Did you have a list before starting out? How did you build your first list? Let's just kind of start from there.
Yeah, so I'll give you two breakthroughs that happened. One was my first $2,000 sale, and it was simply this concept that I learned from a guy called Jay, and he said, focus on adding value to people's lives through your marketing, through your selling. And this is crazy, Vic, but you gotta listen to this, right? And I haven't met the guy. I'm gonna meet him very soon in Malaysia, and I'm gonna give him a big hug because that guy changed my life. And I remember just getting on Facebook one day, and I see this guy post a link. Like, he literally posted this affiliate link, but he was a complete newbie. And all he did was say something, and then he posted a bit.ly link. And it wasn't even a bit.ly. It was a something.hop.clickbank. It was just a raw ClickBank link, right? And I messaged him and I say, hey man, if I was you, what I would do is use something like a bit.ly tracker. And this was 7-8 years ago. I can't even believe it. I remember all of this, but I do. You're a good interviewer, a good question, Vic. So I say to the guy, hey, what you need to do is use a bit.ly link, and so you can track how many people are clicking on your link. That will make things more easier for you, and you don't want to come across too spammy. So this is how you would position the messaging. And I remember him writing back, and he said, wow, that's great. And all I did was I said, hey, you know what? If you're interested in learning more, I'm part of this community. You should go check it out. And, here's the link. And he went and checked out the community, and it was a community of internet marketers just like what we have here. And he basically submitted his application, and then I basically offered him. I told him about the next product, and he bought, and it was a $2,000 product. And I remember just thinking, wow, someone on the other side of the world is going to give me $2,000 for a digital product that I've never met. And that was my first breakthrough. I didn't have a list at the time. I started building a list straight after that, and I started using solo ads. Okay, and even till today, we still run a lot of solo ads. And it's essentially what solo ad is. It's leveraging other people's lists, other people's newsletters to get traffic, right? And so if someone has spent 10 years building a list of say 100,000 subscribers, we're basically giving them money, and they are going to be emailing their list with our products and services, right? And so I go to a live event, right? And I meet this guy. We're just gonna call him JG, okay? And I meet this guy, JG, and he starts telling me about how his list is 100,000 subscribers, okay? Now, first of all, two things happened. One is I had built a list of about 600 people at the time, 600 or 700 people at the time, and I had made about $60,000. Okay, that's a lot of money for a tiny list, right, Vic?
Right, and it begs the question: how did you do it? First of all, how did you build a list? Which sounds like you're talking about solo ads and just hustling a little bit in the beginning, which was a brilliant strategy on your part and a brilliant move. You saw somebody spamming, you're like, hey, dude, this is not so not cool what you're doing. Hey, let me show you how to do it right, and that became one of your first customers, right, for the program. And so
what happened was,
and you being new, so Shaq, I just wanted to make this point here because I know a lot of people are going to be watching this. They're literally just getting started online. So a lot of people thinking like, well, I don't have that story, man. I haven't made $800,000 in a month yet, right? So what you did, what you just shared with me, which I thought was brilliant, is you leveraged your community that you were part of, right? You said, hey, here's what we're doing. Take a look at what we're doing, and you don't even have to focus on yourself. You just flip it to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done this many, many times. Every time if I want to promote something, because here's the thing, not everyone resonates with me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes I refer to myself as a 27, now I'm 28. I'm getting up there, but I would always refer to myself as a 25-year-old punk kid, drop out of university. And I know not everyone resonates with that messaging, right? So I could bring someone else in and talk about their success and their story and just say, hey, they're this part of the same community as I'm involved with, and
Yeah.
then I would extend an invitation. And so, a couple of things that happens at this one live event. One, I see all these big name marketers. These were guys with big lists. 100,000, 250,000 subscriber lists, and they all kept referring to their list as leads or just just numbers. You know what I mean? And I remember thinking to myself, wow, because one guy came up to me and said, "How on earth did you make $60,000 from less than 1,000 subscribers?" And I said, "Oh, I look after the people on my list, and I built it up doing Facebook, doing solo ads or bits and pieces here and there." And that was a big breakthrough for me, because most people, if they have 100 or 500 subscribers, they think, all I have is 100 or 500 people on my list. But really, that's real people. And if you start treating them as real human beings that have dreams, aspirations, fears,
Right.
hopes, and desires, then you start changing the conversation as how you're going to communicate with them. So that was a breakthrough in itself for myself. And I realized, wow, I gotta, as long as I'm taking care of the people on my newsletter, I'll make, I'll be taken care of financially. And I remember I was averaging $1 million every 10,000 subscribers I added onto my list, which is incredible. There's probably less than, I'd say, 5 people in this industry, you being one of them, that could say that they have similar numbers, or better numbers than that, because most people just don't value their list. They don't understand email marketing, which we can talk about later on.
Yeah.
And so the next thing that happened was,
So, Shaq, before we go to the next thing that happened, let me talk about what kind of stuff do you talk to your list about? Because you starting out, you have 600 subscribers on your list. You probably don't know much about marketing at this time, right? You were able to pull $60,000 or 60,000 pounds from the small list of under 1,000 people. What do you talk to them about as a newbie in the industry? Where do you get the information? How do you disseminate the information? How do you go about that kind of taking care of and nurturing your list?
sure. So I would go and learn something, and then I would go out and send it to the email, right? And I literally had like one intention, um, that I set 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever I started. And it was just like, it was this. Every single time my subscribers hear from me, they need to be better off than before. So the only thing that I would wake up and I would say, and I still have this even till today, this is one of those little tiny habits,
Yeah.
invisible triggers, I call them, invisible triggers of success. And I ask myself this question: what's the most valuable thing I can add to my subscribers' life today? And that's it. And that would set me on a path to think of what kind of lesson can I teach them. Maybe it's an experience in the day. Maybe I just had a webinar with you, and I've learned something new that I can share with them that's going to help them in their marketing, in their business, in their life, and give them an epiphany. And so I would start off with a story. I would give them a lesson that creates this epiphany, or that creates that bond, and then I would always have a call to action. I'm always selling in my emails. I've been doing daily emails probably for the last 7 years. 5 times, 6 times, sometimes 7 times a week, I send emails. And so the guiding question behind the emails is, number one, what's the most valuable thing I can add? And I'll give you guys a little bonus lesson. I spent time with a guy called Dean Jackson. For those of you guys who don't know who he is, Vick knows who he is. Dean Jackson is known to be one of the best marketers in the world. He's like he's known to create the guy who really created the squeeze page back in the day, okay, and he helped one of his students, Ibn Pagan, kind of popularize the whole thing. And I spent time with him. I paid him for 2 days of consulting in Tower Bridge in London. And one of the things he said to me after he was reviewing my email campaigns, he said, Shaq, you need to add another question when you write emails. And I said, what's that? And he said, ask yourself this question. What is the current fears and frustrations my subscribers are going through? So I literally sit down in my computer every single day and I would write an email that takes me 30 to 45 minutes. And the 2 questions I have is, what's the most valuable thing I can share today to my subscribers? Number 2, what current frustrations and fears and challenges are my subscribers going through? Those 2 questions kind of drive my business. Those 2 questions, when I write that email, that's about 80% of my daily work done. Now I work a lot of hours, but probably 2 years ago, I was what's called a beach bum millionaire. I'd work 3 hours a day and goof off because I used to learn from a mentor who actually preached that, make money and go to the beach. And then
did that work long term for you, brother?
I met another mentor, and he's done over $100 million in sales. And he said to me, no, Shaq, the point of making money is not for you to go and make money to go and spend it or to have all this fun. The point of making money is to reinvest it for future growth. And I thought, wow, that's a new way of thinking. Yeah. So for the last 2 years, I've kind of changed my way of doing things. I work a lot of hours now, but I don't really class it as work. I'm on a mission to create the best version of myself, the best version for my clients, my subscribers, and add a lot of value. So right now, I'm more on a mission than anything else. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling and ranting, but those were 2 questions that drive my email marketing.
So this is a pre-frame. This is a lens that you're seeing your business through. Is what kind of value can I bring to them, and what are their frustrations or challenges that I can hopefully solve or provide solutions to. And so your behavior is stemming from that thinking instead of like, how can I get some money from this guy or that gal? That's on my list, right? Which is a totally different paradigm, different way of thinking. And so you guys are watching this right now. There's a lot of unspoken nuggets flying around here around just this conversation, right? You guys getting how you can see what you do is, if you're brand new, right? You learn something, you say, okay, can this be valuable to my list? If I got 2 people, or if I got 20 people, or 200 people, or 200,000 people on my list, can this little idea be valuable to my list in the market that I serve, right? And then what kind of challenges that my list might be going through. And so what you do is you learn and you become you disseminate that information in a way that you do it with the right lens, so to speak, right? With the right kind of thinking. And so your attitude, you connect with people. Shaq, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, so when you teach someone, this is something that I learned early on. When you teach something, even if it's such a very small thing, even like for example, if you learn something now here, on this class between me, myself, and Vic, what happens is on a very unconscious level, that value gets added to your life. Yeah. So you now start to know, like, and trust us a lot more, right? That's basically how the world works. That's why sometimes when you read a book and then you go and meet the author, or even if you've never met the author, right, you always have just a special place. Like, I'll give you an example. The book Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Robert Kiyosaki, you've read it. Everyone's read it, right? It's just like, man, that book changed my life. If I ever meet that guy, Robert Kiyosaki, which I probably will, I'll have that feeling because he's added so much value to my life that I know, like, and trust him. And so when I figured that out, I realized, okay, when you get people to know, like, and trust you, and you win their heart over, then it's easy for them to bring out their wallet and buy your products and services and recommendations, because people will buy from you because of who you are. Yeah. And then they'll buy because of the systems, and you can recommend whatever the heck you want after that, because the initial trust is built.
Let me ask you this, Shaq. So you're promoting these products, you're bonding with your list, you're learning, you're disseminating information, you're connecting, you're providing value to your list. People see you as a different type of marketer. How do you go about, how important is that for you to have what I call moral authority? Okay, so if I'm promoting a product, all right, first of all, I really have no idea, so I'm just gonna put you on a spot here because I really don't know what you're gonna say. And this is totally like, it's interesting to see where this conversation goes, because what you just, talked about over the last 3 minutes, we can spend, 5 hours and just like dissecting these ideas here, but I want to keep it concise and condensed and hopefully deliver as many of these, nuggets to the audiences watching this as well. How important is it, in your opinion, to own the products that you're promoting or be able to use the products that you're promoting? How important is what I call moral authority? I know that you know what I'm talking about because you're part of the 4% group, and we have a lot of this stuff talking about a lot of these.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to own the products because you want to come from that place. I never promote a product that I don't personally use, and number one, I only really promote my own products and services. The last few years, I've probably promoted less than 5 products. Promoted my buddy Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels program. I promote 4%, just a handful of products. And these are products that I'm happy to get involved with because, number one, I will use them myself. Number two, I've done my research and I know these can be trusted. So when I'm recommending this to my subscribers, to my clients, it comes from a place of authenticity. And people see that, you know what I mean? I did a webinar with you. We had 450 people show up on my webinar, and people joined, hundreds of people joined the 4% club, right? Why? Because they knew that I was getting behind this and I had built a relationship with them prior to this. So, that's very important in terms of moral authority. I have a simple mom test, would my mom be proud of what I'm selling?
That's a good one.
So, I keep that at the back of my head, at the front of my head, when I'm speaking on stage, when I'm selling, whether it's a $200 program or $20,000 program or $100,000 program, I ask myself, is this, and I know my stuff is good, so as long as you have, ethical, you're doing stuff ethically, morally, and legally, it's all good.
How do you overcome, do you think it's an issue with, especially, as an affiliate, we can be promoting, high ticket programs, low ticket offers and stuff like that. How do you overcome the mental block that, oh my goodness, I don't think people can afford a $100,000 investment. I don't think people can afford a $12,000 investment or a $5,000 investment to buy this thing. Is that something that you had to battle with initially, and how did you overcome that?
That second breakthrough that I was going to talk to you about, I'll share that with you. Mm-hmm. So I go to this live event, I meet this guy called JG. He has 100,000 subscribers. And he says to me, hey, Shaq, if you give me $5,000, I'll do what's called a solo ad to my list.
$5,000?
$5,000. And man, at the time, it seemed like a lot of money. I don't know if you just said $5,000 is a lot of money or not. But at the time, it was a lot of money. And I was like, okay, I'm in, but I didn't have no idea how I was going to fund this. So he happened to live about 10 minutes away from my home.
Wait a minute, I'm going to stop you there, Shaq, for a second here. So you agreed to a $5,000 investment or promotion. You did not have the $5,000?
I did not have the $5,000. I did not have the $5,000.
How do you make sense of that decision, dude? What happened? What was going on in your head? How did you make that commitment?
Number one, I read a book when I was a kid from Richard Branson, and he told me the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. So naturally, for those of you who want to make a lot of money, 6 figures, 7 figures, listen, you got to invest in yourself. You got to invest into systems. You got to invest into products. You got to invest big, because the average person out there is never going to do that, right? And so when I got that in, I felt scared, and I was like, $5,000, how on earth am I going to afford that? I said to myself, I'll figure out a way, but I just wanted to lock the deal, you know. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, this is an opportunity. And I mean, he's got a list of 100,000 subscribers, and he's spent about 3 years of his life building that. And it's just like you, when you create these systems, you know, you just, before this, we had a, you know, a couple of minute conversation, and you said, hey, you're launching out this new system. You know, one of the things that's in my head is, this system didn't take you, Vic. You know, how long did, whatever it took you
11 years, 12 years.
12 years, that's it.
Accumulative
it's 12 years
knowledge.
It's 12 years. Like sometimes I'll go and deliver, and you know, I speak all over the world now. I do my own events. I don't really speak for anyone else, but I do my own events, and I get on stage, and my preparation would be, you know, just a little notepad, and people will say, how do you get up sometimes without slides and talk all day for a few days? And I'm like, you guys don't get it. I've been preparing for the last 7 years of my life, right? I've been practicing. So when you create a funnel and you're letting, you know, people use the 4%, it's really that you've spent the last 12 years honing these skills to create the system, right? And so I kind of thought to myself, wow, this guy's spent 3 years or longer building this list. Let me get in. And he comes up with this crazy thing, and he says, you know, Shaq, I want to come, I'll come around your house and get me some cash. Okay, give me the money in cash. So I go home and I tell my dad, listen, I need $5,000, man. And he says, why? I said, listen, Dad, I'll pay you back. You know, this is the last money I'm going to ask for you. But I need $5,000. I'm sure you have it. Give me the $5,000 in cash. And he says, well, I'll give it to you tomorrow. I said, no, Dad, the guy's coming round, and the guy said to me, Shaq, I want the $5,000 in cash because I'm gonna feel cool, and I want you to put it in a black bin bag, right? So you can see how this looks to my dad.
Yeah.
So my dad's watching TV.
What you up to, son? What you into? What you get yourself into?
Yeah, my dad's like, son, this is not. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Dad, don't worry about it. I got this, Dad. I'm buying a solo ad. And he's like, what? I'm like, Dad, it's a solo ad. You won't understand. It's emails. They're going to send me emails. I'm going to get people on my newsletter. And so he gives me the $5,000, and he literally watches me. This is in the living room. He watches me bag it up in a black bin bag and wait until it's 3 a.m. And he's looking at me thinking, okay, my son has seriously lost the plot. So at 3 a.m., the guy comes around in front of my house. I give him the $5,000 cash, and you know, he basically commits to doing a solo ad for me. Right now, number one, I had to take that big risk, and I had no idea how it's going to turn out. But I just knew this guy had systems. This guy had a track record of creating proven systems that would help get sales. Okay, I just knew because he's been around for a few years, and so I could trust him, and I did. And so we end up going to Las Vegas, and we were in this hotel room together where we did the webinar, okay? And it was one of my first ever webinars. It was a complete disaster. It was horrible. I mean, I didn't know what to say. There was a bunch of people. We had a guest come on. Now, the guest comes on, and literally for 30 minutes, he doesn't give any value. He just talks about how great he is, and he just leaves. Anyway, so that was an experience in itself. After the webinar, we tell a couple of stories. We encourage people to go and buy. But literally, by the time I go from my hotel room to downstairs, this was in Las Vegas, I check my phone, there's over $5,000. And that for me was just unbelievable. I was like, whoa, I just made my ad spend back in a day. And
so you ran a solo ad to this guy's list with an offer. Where did that traffic go to? Does that go directly to the offer page? Did that go to some sort of a pre-frame sequence? What was the setup?
We went to a pre-frame report. It was called the 3 Golden Nuggets report or something like that. From the report, it pre-framed people, it qualified people, got people interested in the webinar. And here's the fascinating thing. When I had gone back up So in that hour, I had basically put in 28 people in 1 hour. And man, I mean, no one in the company had done that before.
Yeah.
And I was promoting an affiliate program where for every, $400 or $500 sale, I was making like 50% or whatever it was. But here's the fascinating thing. When I had gone back upstairs, when they were buying, they had to fill out an application form, right? This is why I use a lot of application forms to qualify people. You ask, how do people spend $100,000 buying my products and services? They go through this application process where I'm qualifying them to make sure I'm a right fit. They're a right fit for my products and services.
Right.
So I go upstairs and I remember getting on the computer and I see all these applications that come in, right? Because the system was set up to qualify people. And I'm looking at all these applications and I start calling them to congratulate them for buying. And I remember using the hotel Las Vegas phone, and I was like, oh, I don't care how much the bill costs because I'm using this, because I just made a little bit of money, and I was like, gosh, I need to just say thank you to these customers. And as I was doing that, I naturally just offered people, hey, would you be interested in the next level? Would you be interested in other products and services? And the biggest breakthrough I ever had, or one of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had in business and life, was that I turned $5,000. And here's what happened. I took care of those customers. I followed up. I offered more products and services. Within 3 months, I made $72,000.
So is that because you were able to do that and pull that kind of money that nobody else in the company did? Is that because there was that personal connection? Is that because that you connected with them? Is that because of the rapper? Is that because of the pre-frame? What do you think? Why do you think that worked?
It was because I followed up. I learned early on. The fortune is in the follow-up. I would write.
Yeah.
I would write these little notes. On. Look, I always have these little notes that are stuck, you know what I mean, on my computer. This one is one that's on my computer that holds me accountable to doing high leverage activities. I have these notes literally all over my desk, all over my computer. And one of the things that I wrote early on was the fortune is in the follow-up. And so I would follow up and I would add value, and I would, get on the phone and I would figure out where people are at and then give them an opportunity to take the next level further, and I believe that everyone has the money. That's just a belief I have, Vic. I believe everyone has the money if your offer is good. If people see the value, here's the thing, if people want to enroll into a $12,000 program or $20,000 program, it's not the offer in itself, it's how much they value their time, their money, their investment, their energy, right? Now, if you are looking to join, say the Internet Marketing College, the Tech Academics program, $12,000, $20,000, is it expensive? Yes, no. Let's reframe it. Is it worth? How much is it worth if I could save you 3 years of your life or 2 years of headache, heartache, and hassles that you're going to go through?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I always look at it from that perspective. And when my clients want to enroll with me, I just simply say, hey, listen, this system is proven, just like the systems that you create, is proven to convert. It helps average people get results. Yes. So if it helps average people get results and the average person spends 6 months to 12 months, doesn't get any results, how much is that worth? How much is you spending 12 months extra with your family worth to you? You know what I mean? And so when you kind of pre-frame it in that sense, the investment is there's no question people are going to invest, And I also know my customer avatar. For those of you guys, when we're in this industry, internet marketing, home business, network marketing, 90% of our customers are going to be over 40 years old, okay, 40 to 60 years old, and they want to make money online. They usually have savings, they usually have, a cash reserve that they can tap into. I say this very openly, but I don't want people who are 20, 25 years old attending my live events. Why? Because they don't have money to go and invest in my products and services. Or they don't have that mindset. Most of them, I'm not saying everyone, just FYI. people, in case you guys start judging me. I know I got started when I was 21, but not everyone is like me, and not everyone is, has that head to think that way.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, totally, man. Great stuff. You guys getting some nuggets from this? I know, Shaq, do you see the comments on the live? Obviously, we're doing this live right now. Do you see what people are commenting or no?
No, where do they comment?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if you log into the 4% group members area, I'm not sure if you can do that while talking to me, and just go to the live webinar room, you'll be able to see us interacting live right there. We have a pretty good crowd here. People love you, man. People love your ideas.
I thought this was just a call between me and Vick.
Love it. All right, so great stuff. Here is okay. So now you're promoting affiliate stuff. So sounds like to me your biggest magical power for your breakthrough was basically connecting with your people and differentiating yourself from everybody else. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's learning about conversions, learning how to convert people. That's the magical skill. If there's one thing I can teach you guys in this business, or I can tell you, it's understanding leverage, marketing, systems, numbers. It's just understanding the topic of conversions and optimizing for maximum conversions, which you're a master of. That's why you create these systems. But when you can do that, and you can take a stranger and have the stranger give you, $12,000, $50,000, it's magical. I go to an event every year with a guy called Tony Robbins. You guys know him. I'm sure you've all heard of him. I've spent tens of thousands with Tony. I've met him as well, and in person, he's a great guy. I learned so much from him. And I remember going to one of his advanced events, right? And it was in Spain. And I meet this very successful guy who owns a whole range of clinics in London. And he said to me, this was a good couple of years ago, right? He says to me, yeah, I had a friend that just gave me Tony's book. From the book, I attended one of the 3-day events, the UPW. From then, I went and I bought this, and I bought this upsell, and then I bought this program, and I invested here, and I invested here.
Effect, yeah.
And I'm here right now with you.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at him, and the lesson I got from that was, wow, that's a person, Tony Robbins, that can take a cold person, literally a cold person, a cold prospect, someone who's slightly curious, and educate them, empower them, motivate them, pre-sell them, pre-frame them, and now they become a very serious, lifelong customer, lifelong fan, lifelong client. And essentially, when you have that power, when you learn how to do that, financial freedom and making millions and making 8 figures and all this stuff, that's just a byproduct. That's just a byproduct. Money is just a byproduct of how much value you provide to society and to the marketplace. The fastest way I know how to do that is first by leveraging systems, leveraging other people's case studies. If you're brand new, you don't have the results, find someone else that has the results. Use them, use their story. And then once you have those results, then start creating and documenting your own results.
Hey man, I got a question for you. So what were some of the mistakes that you've made in business? What are some things that you are not so proud of that you've done? I mean, I made tons of mistakes. Did a lot of stupid stuff too, that I'm not so proud of. But hey, it's a journey, right? So we all go through that kind of stuff. If you don't mind talking about what are some, maybe top 3 or top 5 mistakes that you've ever made, in the short life that you had so far.
Yeah. So number 1 mistake was I thought, and again, this is a repeating pattern. Not just in myself. I used to think it was just me, but it's a lot of people. A lot of the times we think we're too smart, so no one needs to teach us. We can figure this out. I literally have people that will come to my live events and say it face to face. I offer them a system or a program. I say, hey, I can save you a couple of years of making mistakes, and then don't worry, I can figure this stuff out myself. Right? And a lot of the times people do that. I used to be that guy. And then after 9 months of I'm not really going anywhere. I tried this internet marketing stuff, maybe I should just listen to what the people who are getting results teach me and show me and give me an opportunity to take advantage of. And essentially that's what I did. That was my first big mistake, was thinking I could figure this stuff out myself. My second big mistake was I never started building a list from day one. I mean, it probably took me a good 1 or 2 years to first build my initial subscriber base. So no matter what day you're starting, if this is your first day starting internet marketing, make sure the most powerful asset you can ever build in this business is your list of subscribers. And most importantly, the relationship that you develop, that you cultivate, that you orchestrate within yourself and your subscribers, because that will really predict and engineer how much money you'll create in the marketplace and how much value you'll be able to share. Gosh, I have so many, Vic.
Go on, man. Go on. This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. It's going to be, it's very beneficial for a lot of people, especially people who are just starting out. You know, they're like, my goodness, you guys, like, you know, I don't think I can never be like Shaq. I can never be like that guy or that guy. But the reality is, you can't. You can't. Just take the nuggets. You know, internalize this stuff. There is no difference between Shaqir Hussyin, myself, anybody that you know, and you, my friend, watching this right now, right? The only difference is how you think, and maybe, you know, maybe Shakir got a few more years of, you know, of the journey on you than, you know, maybe a little bit more experience, a little more knowledge, but it's also the right kind of strategies. So that's why, you know, I hope that this kind of stuff, you know, first of all, it can save you a lot of mistakes. Second thing is it can bring you some inspiration and that mindset of, you know what, if he did it, you know, this is his journey, dude, you know, I can do it. And that's really the hope here. And also is to bring you some practical ideas that can hopefully help you. So Shaq, what else, man? What else? So not learning from somebody else, you know, thinking that you can do this yourself, not building a list. What's the third one? Give me your three big ones. What's the third?
I'd say, you know, sorry, there's mosquitoes, so I just got bit on my leg just before I got on the phone call with you, and there's a big, massive one.
Yeah, you'll deal with them later, man. You're on the air, man. You got like thousands of people watching you potentially.
I'm not going to go and harm the mosquito right now in public. Okay, gosh, the third big mistake was, you know, it's something that happened just probably about 2 months ago, where, you know, I trusted the wrong people with the money, with my finances, and you know, they decided to steal some money from me. I don't know if you want me to get into that, Vic, but a lot of the times people think, you know, because we make all this money, that we don't have any challenges and problems, but we do. And you know, it's more of the mindset that you cultivate to overcome that, rather than staying stuck, right? So my third big mistake was, it wasn't the fact that I trusted the wrong people. It was, and this is a lesson for all of you guys, is when I first started internet marketing, my first 2 years of making money online, I had made about $400,000. Okay, that money got to my head. I discovered a place called Mayfair, Park Lane, the richest places in London. As I was growing up as a kid, we used to play Monopoly, and those were the two most expensive places. So I discovered, wow, I'm rich. I thought I was rich, and I discovered this place, and I was attracted to all the wrong people, all the wrong girls, all the wrong guys, and it took me 8 months. 8 months, and I had spent every single bit of that money, and my account was minus $500.
Wow.
And I remember thinking to myself, what kind of an idiot does that? And that was me. I never told anyone about it. I told my best friend about it. But I never told my parents or anyone in my family, just because I didn't know how they were going to react. But my first 2 years of internet marketing, everything went downhill because I had spent all the money. I remember going out with my best friend, and he said, Shaq, how do you feel? And I said, you know, man, I'm all right, you know. He says, how do you feel? I said, it kind of sucks, you know. But I said, you know, I'm praying 5 times a day. I'm practicing gratitude every day. I'm doing my thing, and I think I'm gonna make it back. And you know what? This time I'm just gonna hold on to it. And he looks at me and he says, "You sure?" I said, "You know, the thing is, it's the education, man. No one took the education away from me."
Yeah.
The following year, I worked very hard, I'll tell you that. But the following year, I made $1.2 million. And every single year since then, I've been able to pretty much double the business over the last 5 years. And when I look back, it's understanding that this education is what's going to put you ahead 5, 10 years of the average curve. The average person has no idea that you can make money on Facebook. Every single one of you listening right now has that in your mind. One of my mentors, this always excites me. I'm sure this will excite you, Vic, and everyone who kind of gets where this is going. So if you get positioned right now with the systems, with the education, over the next 3 to 5 years, a lot of big shifts are happening online. One of my mentors, his name is Dr. Peter Diamandis, and he's known as what you would call a futurist, right? Vic, you know Dr. Diamandis, right?
Yep. Yeah, I know Peter.
Okay, so, and Peter talks about this thing, Dr. Peter Diamandis talks about this thing called the rising billions.
Yep.
And he predicts that over the next 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 billion people are coming online, right? That always puts a big smile on my face, because you think about it, there's about 1.5 billion people right now online. And look at the opportunity, look at how much abundance there is. In the next 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 billion people are coming online, which basically means that you need to get positioned right now. You need to do whatever it takes so that you're working with all the leading edge marketers, people who are making waves in the marketplace, being part of the 4%, utilizing it, maximizing your opportunity here, whether the investment is, $2,000, $10,000 or $20,000, do whatever it takes, because this is something that's going to serve you and hopefully your family, your friends, your loved ones over the coming years, right? So you have to kind of think long term. My big mistake in the earlier days was I never thought long term. And so now I've started to adopt that mentality. And if you do that too, I'm pretty sure you're going to come out on the other side right at the top.
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah, Peter. Somebody's asking Peter who? It's Peter Diamandis. You guys can Google him. So, Shaq, you mentioned 4% group, a few times here in your speech, in your conversation here. A guy like yourself, right? You're doing. I mean, you're living it up. You're speaking, you're flying. You're an author. You got your stuff going on. What attracted you to the 4% group? Obviously, you're one of our members. You're one of our beta members as well. So you start from the beginning. Why are you here? What are you doing here?
I just wanted to hang out with you, Vic. I like watching your kids and you and learning from you. So one is, number one, I've seen some of the stuff that you've been able to create in the marketplace, where you've been able to give, people who are starting out, complete brand new people who have never made a dime. I've seen them make, the first 6 figures, right? You've seen them too, right? Obviously, because you've helped quite a few people make the first 6 figures and beyond. And so I always like to work with people who have been around in the industry for a long time. And now that I've kind of developed this brand and this name, I'm not going to just go out just to make a quick buck. You know what I mean? Because that's not the mindset that got me here. And so I want to stay true to that. And, when I saw what you're doing with the 4%, creating a system, creating a pre-sale offer, that's what you would call it, right? A pre-framing offer wrapper, or really a marketing system that's going to help people sell high ticket programs. That's the same thing that changed my life. You know what I mean? That story that I shared with you guys, how I turned $5,000 into $72,000. Guess what? That only happened because there was one guy, just like Vic, who created a system. And my job was to market the system. It was to follow the simple steps and market the system, and the rest of the heavy lifting was taken care for me. So that's like the main reason. I mean, Vic, if you want, I can talk about the 101 other reasons why I joined 4%, but that would be one of the main reasons. And so I wanted my clients to get that benefit too, to leverage this, and I really appreciate the fact that you've spent so much time. You make videos. There's a video on the 4% group right now, and you have your kids with you. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool, man. Appreciate it, man. Well, it's great to have an entrepreneur like yourself, a marketer like yourself, be a part of our vision. What we're doing here with the 4% group, obviously, you're a big contributor to the cause. What we do here to the mission. I appreciate that. Shaq, I have a few questions here that came in through through the 4% group Facebook group. If you don't mind me, I'm gonna ask them to you here. Some people wanted to ask you, what is your morning routine like? This is a little off topic, obviously, but so as we wrap this up here in a few minutes, I just want to ask a few questions from the group that people wanted you to address. What do you do in the morning?
Vic, you woke me up. We're going to go on for the next 2 hours. All right. So my morning routine, this morning is going to be a little bit different. The reason is because it's 3 a.m. right now, 3:13 a.m. and I'm spending time with you guys. But I used to work all night. Now I've started waking up at 5 a.m. each day. And it's only been happening for the last few days. So I wake up. I have a cold shower. Before anything else, I just get out quickly, jump into the cold shower. The reason why I have a cold shower is it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to do. And I'm conditioning my mind, hey, you know what? It's a tough thing. Let's go. And so when I'm in the shower, I'll put on a podcast. I listen to a couple of different podcasts. Listen to one that you can resonate with. At different levels of your business, you're going to learn, different ones. So I listen to some inspiring stuff for like 15, 20 minutes. Whilst I'm in the shower, I'll say a few affirmations. Should I tell you what those are, or should I just? It's my affirmations, on life, on myself. What I think of myself,
right.
What I want to achieve and stuff. So I'll do that. I'll come out, cold shower. I'll go and make a coffee, a green drink, a big glass of water. Then I'll go and pray, and I'll pray. And when I'm praying, I pray for the people around me, for my life, for my business, and then I put myself in a state of gratitude every single day, thanking God for what I have. From small things to the big things, from business to money, to having hands, to having eyes, I just find reasons why I should be grateful. And so that kind of sets my day. And then I'll have I don't have it right now with me. Yeah, there you go. I have a little book, and that's where I write my to-do list. And I try and do the most important things and get those out of the way first. The things that I don't really like doing, or the things that basically bring in, 80, 90% of the leverage. So for me, in my business, it would be, emailing my list, making sure that I have something solid to offer. I would speak to my team. I have now about 30 full-time staff all over the world that run my different businesses and different divisions and stuff. So I'll do that. I check how much commissions have come in whilst I've been sleeping. And so after I do that, then I try and get a good 2 to 3 hours of focus work done. I have a mentor called Dan Sullivan. He runs a company called Strategic Coach, which again, always invest in yourself. I just paid him 25 grand. And in a nutshell, he's going to teach me how to think better, right? I'm seeing him next week in Canada, in Toronto, actually. And so...
Wait a minute. So Shaq, you invested 25 grand to learn how to think better.
Yes. And the first thing, not you, Vic, because I know you don't think like that, but if the first thing in your mind is like, why on earth would you pay to learn how to think. Don't you know how to think? No.
Right. Well, that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point, Shaq, because a lot of people, right, when they hear this idea, they'll be like, you just invested 25 grand just to learn how to think. Dude, that would make sense, investing 25 grand on like learning how to, how to like market. You can't really put an ROI, most people can't really put an ROI on thinking, right? With like, in my opinion, I understand where you're coming from clearly 100%, because my motto is like, dude, one idea can make you a millionaire. If I pay 25 grand to go to an event or to take a training, and all I've got from it just one single idea that I can implement that can make me $1 million, that was a steal, right?
Absolutely.
So expand on it. Expand on that thinking a little bit here, man, because this is huge that a lot of people just completely miss out on.
Sure. So, the person I'm learning from has 43 years of coaching entrepreneurs, and you have to be very successful. You have to already make, 6 figures or 7 figures to be even accepted in the program. And, if he spent 43 years, he knows something. He knows something that he can add a lot of value to myself. And a classic example, one of my friends, I'm driving in the car and I just turn around and I say to him, oh yeah, I just paid 25 grand for this program. The first thing he says to me, and by the way, he has a job. I love him, but anyway, I'm just telling you this because for your growth. He says, Shaq, you're so successful. Why on earth would you need to pay this guy? And I'm like, he forgot, or he doesn't get it. That's what got me here in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know where it's going to take me. You have to take that step further. You have to take that investment further. So you have to take that step further, even if you don't know how it's going to turn out, because that's just the way you create success, right? Like, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know if you do this one thing, it's going to take you closer to the goal. And so for me, if I'm able to avoid a simple mistake, or if I'm able to learn something that cuts my learning by 5 years or 10 years, how much is that worth? That's worth a lot more than 25K.
Yeah.
And so that's the thinking behind it. There's two ways, I look at when you want to create success. You grind your way up or you buy your way in, okay? What does that mean? Grinding your way up means, and this is how most people think, hopefully you guys aren't going to be thinking like this, but most people think, you know what? I'm smart enough, I have a degree, or, I am XYZ. I could go and learn all this stuff myself. I could go and create these systems by myself. And that's why I call grinding your way up, which you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to pay a lot of expensive prices to get to where you want to go. And the other one is you buying your way in. You find other people that have done a lot of the work. Right? Just like how you created 4%, Vic, I have systems that basically sell, top tier programs. Okay, so I'm at this live event. This guy comes up to me and he says, oh, you know what? I've looked at all these things that you're doing, and in 6 weeks, I can create all of this stuff by myself.
It's like, you like, try it out, dude, right?
Good luck. I just looked at him. I turned around to my staff and I said, hey, make sure we're not selling or offering this guy any programs, because he's going to be a headache, and I'm not interested in dealing with headaches. Yeah. And so, but that's how most people think. Right now you guys have an opportunity to maximize and capitalize with a 4% system, with a 4% group, and all the other back-end programs. So take that step further. Make sure you invest in yourself, because this is what's going to give you an unfair advantage over everyone else. Vic, why am I paying 25 grand to this guy? Because I want an unfair advantage over someone that's not going to pay 25K to enhance their mindset.
Love it. Love that mindset. Shaq.
Actually, you know what? On that note, I will cover one thing, because some people will think this. Yeah, Shaq, yes, Vic, but you guys have money because you're millionaires right now. That's why you're going to spend this. The honest truth is, I invested $45,000 into internet marketing before I made any real money. I invested that before I even knew how internet marketing works. Why? Because I just had a belief, if these guys can do it, so can I. And so, don't operate from that mindset of, Yeah, I'll invest when I make more money, or I invest when I see results. Systems work, people fail. If there's one system and one person has made money from it, guess what? The systems work. It's the person that doesn't do whatever it takes to get the result. So kind of keep that in mind too.
Yeah, yeah, great stuff. Shaq, look, man, I appreciate you, dude. I mean, you dropped a lot of gold here on this interview, and I hope that you guys watching this, you pick it up, you grab as many of these bars as you possibly can, expand on them. Some of these ideas will require you to digest them, okay? Think through them, internalize them, put your, give it some thought. Let it marinate in your head a little bit. One idea, you guys, can make you a millionaire. Okay, there has been lots of ideas shared on this particular episode. Hope you grabbed them. Hope you took some notes. Hope it's gonna serve you. Okay, Shaq, if we have somebody, obviously we're gonna turn this into a value piece to the marketplace. So we will have there's probably gonna be tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people watching this as a replay in the free world out there. Somebody who might be watching this, and maybe they heard about what we do here. We have the 4%. We have our portfolio of different companies that we get behind. We create these marketing systems, as you talked about. Tech Academics is one of them. We have several. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming out. Somebody might be watching us like this, right? A little skeptical. You being an insider, just one of the members that got attracted to the 4% group. What would you tell to that person?
It's all right to be skeptical, but then you have to ask yourself this question: what if? What if it's true? What if what we just discussed is true? What if there are systems that have been created to give you an unfair advantage? What if there are systems that are turning people from zero into six-figure earners and seven-figure earners and eight-figure earners? What if it's true? If you are skeptical in the slightest bit, then you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, you owe it to your future to also have an open mind to what if it's true. And if it's true, then you owe it to yourself to do your own research, to get involved and to take that leap of faith to learn more about it. Because, the honest truth is, it's either you are close to this and you continue getting the results that you've always been getting, or you have that little bit of an open mind and you say, let me go and research, let me go and click on that link, let me go and buy one of the products, let me go and invest in one of these systems, let me go and attend one of these events. And I can tell you this right now, if you have an open mind, if you're open for growth, if you are someone who wants to create a life beyond your wildest dreams, this industry can give you that and so much more. It's certainly changed my life from being an ex-construction worker, selling stuff on eBay, to creating multiple millions in this industry, changing my entire family's life. I've been able to do so many amazing things. I can't even share. It's crazy, how the kind of lifestyle I live. But again, it's because I had an open mind. And it's funny you say that, Vic, because yesterday night I went to what's called Tower Bridge. Some of you guys will know what Tower Bridge is. In London, it's a big famous, landmark. And just there, I was taking some pictures. I have a business partner and a friend called Pavel is living in my penthouse, and I took him there. We started taking pictures, and these three kids that I knew from school, they come up to me, right? So they start talking, and they're telling me about their life. One of the guys tells me, "Okay, so how's your life coaching going?" And I'm like, "I am not a life coach." We talk for 10 minutes and we walk off. And Pavel says to me, "Hey, when was the last time you saw those kids?" I said, "Man, it must have been like 10 years ago." And he said, "That was a pretty damn short conversation for 10 years." And I said, "Well, I think I spoke for them about 6 or 7 minutes, and they're great guys, but I mean, Pavel, what the heck was I meant to? I found out everything about their life in about 6 to 7 minutes, right? Like
Yeah.
what else was I going to talk to them about? I can't tell them that, I plan to go to space, or I plan to create, $100 million company or $1 billion company, because that's not in their head, right?
Yeah.
And that's a classic example of someone who had a closed mind. Because those guys, when I was in school, when I was in college, and they all got this opportunity. This internet marketing stuff that we do, where we work from home and we have the ability to make millions and actually make an impact on other people's lives, and we do it on our own terms. They all had this. They all had this opportunity, but they were closed-minded. And I was the only one that was open-minded. And 10 years later, I live a life that I'm very grateful for. Let's put it that way. I'm very, very grateful for. I'm very blessed with, and they're stuck in a corporate 9 to 5 rat race.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people will never understand, what we'll do here, but that's them. So, Shaq, dude, I mean, I can talk to you for another 3 hours, but I got to respect your time. I appreciate, it's like 2 a.m. over there where you are. We have people
2:30 a.m.
2:30. There you go. Right. So you got to get a little bit of sleep at least. We have people from all over the world watching this live. I appreciate you guys. So here's kind of like, if I wanted to summarize this thing. So the three things I got from it is like this, dude. You don't have to create a product necessarily. You don't have to create a company yourself to become successful or to become a millionaire or to change your life for the better, right? You can promote other people's stuff to become wealthy, to become a millionaire, to become a multi-millionaire, but you've got to do it right. Okay, so just like you shared, you do it through using the right kind of systems, right, with the right kind of knowledge, talking to the people in the right kind of way, which is through the right kind of filters, right, and lenses, so to speak, as a marketer. Again, what kind of value can I bring to my subscriber? Again, it's building your list is another key point here. And then what is the challenge or the problem in the marketplace that I can serve and help solve, right, as an entrepreneur? And thinking about that other person. You guys, essentially, that's why we created the 4% group. You're watching this. Obviously, you guys are watching this live. You are in the 4%. We have a lot of people watching it live here. If you are watching this, my friend, and you are not a member of the 4% group, you're like, you haven't heard about us yet, or whatever the case is, I recommend that you check it out, okay? I invite you to check it out, to check out what we do. We don't allow everybody in. We want to make sure that we attract the right kind of people, because we want to keep our integrity. We want to keep a certain level of standard that we don't want to fall below. After all, this is the 4%. This is not the 96%ers. There is the 80-20 rule, the Pareto's principle, but there is the 80-20 within the top 20. That makes it the 4%ers. You guys, we have standards that's very, very high. We do things that's different and that's not typical. We have this one thing in common. You know what? I wake up every morning with a sense of passion, with a sense of purpose, looking forward to the day, because I get to do something that I love to do, which is to inspire people to go from being average and mediocre to being above average, right? To be extraordinary. And that's essentially why we created the 4% group. Systems, marketing. We want to take people, aspiring entrepreneurs, give them the platform, give them the tools, the knowledge, the education, not the 96% or the 98% of the garbage they don't need, information overload and all that. What if we can strip everything down and just really, show you the handful of things that you really need to focus on, give you the systems that work, and help you get that big R everybody wants, that result. Okay, that's what we hear. My friend, I suggest that you take a look for yourself, because this could be the best move that you will make for yourself. Definitely looking forward to seeing you, in the future endeavors here in anything we do. If you are not a member of the 4% group, I invite you to check it out. And if you qualify, if you see yourself, if you resonate with the vision, that might be the best move you will ever make as an entrepreneur. I appreciate you. Hope you got some value from this episode. And I look forward to seeing you one day and meeting you one day. Take care.
Sounds good.
All right, Shaq, you're on, man. That was, we're turning these episodes into a value piece to the marketplace.
Okay, nice.
So I had to cut that, make that cut in there. We're still live, man. We still have, a bunch of people here, 342 people in the room live watching you, man. So
Hey,
Shaq, dude,
everyone.
you
Thanks for staying up with me for the last 90 minutes. Yeah, Vic, I'm excited.
yeah, cool, man, cool. Appreciate you, Shaq. So, let's see, dude, what's your one piece of advice to somebody who just joined the 4% group, and they are like, okay, man, I'm eager to get started. You know, looking at everything that you've been through as an entrepreneur, what would your best piece of advice be to somebody who just joined us, just started out, they're looking for that big breakthrough?
Get promoting.
Get what?
Get promoting. Right. I have a friend, his name is Matt Lloyd. He always jokes around with me.
Yeah.
He says, Shaq, you know what? The reason why you're successful is because you're always promoting. In this business, you got to be promoting. So it's very simple. Split your time 80-20. So then you spend, if you have 10 hours in a day, 8 hours, do it. Do stuff, implement. 2 hours learning. So whatever time you have, 80% should be spent doing, and then only 20% learning. So in the morning, do the learning, and then go and implement throughout the day. Go and make lots of mistakes. Go and do, go and follow the systems. Go do whatever it takes, but get promoting. The more exposure you can get to your affiliate links, the more money you're going to ultimately make. So that's kind of what I'm going to say. Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't think too much. Progress over perfectionism.
Love it, love it. Shaq, you're awesome, dude. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for
Thanks
that.
for staying up here. Thanks for showing up.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
We're gonna crush it, man. We're gonna dominate this thing. You guys, I appreciate you. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Be blessed. I'll see you guys around.
Peace.
See ya.